Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing. I'm going to pronounce this as Skåne, and I don't know if I've got that correctly, but it's essentially the southern region of Sweden. And when you see the grid, and actually I should probably read a little bit of the lore about the puzzle before I put it up on the screen. Essentially, the constructor created this puzzle to sort of with an outline of that southern county of Sweden, which is Skåne, where this constructor was actually born and raised. So I try to capture the vibe of Sweden as best as I can in that particular county. Having never traveled to Sweden, I have no idea if I was accurate. I imagined it to be a countryside, or at least certainly the images I found online of the county looked not too different from what you see in the background. Mrs. Sleuth and I, we have traveled quite a bit over the years. Personally, I've done over 40 countries, but never made it to Sweden. As far north as I went has been, technically, probably Scotland is probably further north than Denmark, but that's kind of the only Scandinavian country that I've been to, Denmark, quite a few times actually as part of work. Right, enough about me. We're here for Sudoku. Let's take a look at the puzzle. I should actually just mention one last thing about the puzzle before I actually walk you through the rules. Two exceptionally difficult puzzles this weekend means I just didn't have the heart to do yet another difficult puzzle. So this one I imagine will be a lot more approachable. It is a 1-star difficulty rated puzzle by a new constructor. We've never featured RØMARE on the channel, but it's got a fantastic rating, 90% plus, tons of positive reviews and comments. So I'm sure this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, having not been to Sweden or studied its geography, I have no idea if RØMARE has captured this correctly, but that is the outline of the county here, shown in this orange line. And to tell us all about what that orange line does, we've got the rules. So first off, normal Sudoku rules. Place the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box, such as the ones I've outlined here. Dutch whispers. Of course, with an orange line, we're talking about Dutch whispers. Adjacent digits on an orange line must have a difference of at least 4. For example, if this is a 2, the 2 neighboring digits would have to be 6, 7, 8, or 9 to be 2 or more away. If you're familiar with German whisper rules, you are clearly going to be aware of the fact that you can have a 5 on Dutch whisper lines. So just watch out for those. They're a middling digit that can kind of reverse the polarity. If that was 2 and that was 6 and 7, under normal German whisper rules, you'd be thinking, oh, high, low, high, low. No. The 5s can reverse that polarity order and ruin your day. So watch out for those constantly. On the right-hand side, we've got some digits outside of the grid, and they are sandwich sums. So the digits outside the grid give the sum of the digits between 1 and 9 in that column. So imagine that this was a 1, this was a 9. These two cells would have to add up to 10. That could be 2 and 8 as an example. You could obviously use that constantly. So, the fact that this is a 0, this would mean 1 and 9 have to be adjacent to one another with 0 digits in between them. Otherwise, you're not going to get a sum of 0. 2 more things to touch on. This gray circle in here is odd. I'm not sure. Maybe that's a city. And that's why RØMARE has put it in there. Because I'll be honest with you, with the Dutch whisper rules, it's not giving us a ton of information, but this one here is an odd digit. And then lastly, we've got digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive. We only have one of these, so if that was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 to make sure it is consecutive with the 2. So, if you feel like traveling to Sweden, I imagine it's rather cold round about now, so maybe delay your travel by a few months and try that again. Certainly, I can't imagine it's going to be looking anywhere near as green as the thumbnail did right now. Link will be in the description down below for you to play along as usual. And with that said, all I have to do now is restart the clock and see how I get on. And the reason I sort of said this is not very useful is when it comes to 5s on Dutch whisper lines, they can only ever be surrounded by 1 and 9. You don't really have a ton of options with 5s. Same in here with this 5. We've got a 1, 9 in there. We've got a 1, 9 pair you can see in both columns now. 1 and 9 are in here in box 4, or at least column 1. 6 is also fairly restricted. So unlike its German whisper cousin, this can actually have 2 different digits, and must do because they see one another. But 1 is a 1, 1 is a 2, and you can see we've got our first digit in under a minute. This now has to be a 9 because we've got a 1-2 pair here in row 9. That gives us a 9. That will give us quite a few digits now. 9 and 1. And you don't have to color code. I'm not really going to color code given just... Sorry, I paused for a second. Because I can't put 1 and 9 in any of these cells, I think there are no 5s in here. And the same is true there. We'll take a look elsewhere, but essentially these are definitely low, high, low, high, low. That part, and then again low because you can see that this is a 5. So these are things that I can probably pencil mark reasonably quickly. This is clearly not 1 and 2. I've already written these in, or pencil mark them I should say. That's 3 or 4. This has to be a high digit. It's not 9 or 6. It is 7 or 8. Depending on what this is, if that's a 4, that will force an 8. This has to be a high digit. It is not a 6 and not a 5, even if that's a 1. So this is 7, 8, or 9. Now this is where proceed with caution, because I could place a 9 in here, a 5, and then a 1. Oh, no, I can't. 1 and 4 are too close. So that has to be a high digit. That has to be a low digit. This is 2, 3, 4. Technically, I can still put a 5 with a 9 in here. So that is possible. But that is certainly a high digit. And it can only be 8 and 9 surrounding the 4. So I've got those almost for free. Actually, this 9 and this 0 sandwich sum clue means that this is the one. You know, they needed to be adjacent. That couldn't be the one because I've already placed it. So these are done, and that 0 clue is done as well. That means, again, I can still have a 5. I could do something cheeky like 9, 5, and then another high digit like a 9 again. That would be fine. But essentially, I am restricted to a low digit of 3, 4, and 5. And therefore, if this is a minimum of 3, the high digit in here is relatively high. It's 7, 8, or 9. Let's just keep going around this Dutch whisper line. We can probably just finish this whole perimeter and take stock of where we're at that point. So taking stock of where we're at that point, actually, may as well solve this 10 sandwich clue. If that was the 1, what it's saying is all of these 1, 2, 3, 4 digits sum up to 10. Now, you could do it under normal Sudoku rules. It's just the 1 is not available. So the minimum this would be 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're already at 14, nowhere near 10. That is clearly the 2. That is clearly the 1. 3, 7, 4, 6. 3, 7, 4, 6. Well, I mean, I know these two have to add up to 10, but the only way I can do that would be 3 with 7. 8 and 2 are not available. 4 and 6 are not available because of this 6, and obviously 8 would not be working because of this 2. So this is forced with 3 and 7. Might give me some other digits to play with. I'll just keep going around the perimeter and just use these opportunities as I see them. Well, I mean, we've got 1 definitely in one of these 2 cells. And I mean, the most tempting thing here, to be honest, is essentially a 1-9 pair with an 8 in the middle. But I'm just trying to be very careful because I could do like 1, 6, 2 with a 9 here. Nothing seems to break if I do that. So I am going to just leave it as there is a definite 1. Wait until I can see where the 9 has to be before I kind of proceed down this route. 1, I know that the 9 is on this direction now because there's no 9s in here. And because this is a 7 that's been placed in this box, I know that there is at least 2 cells to add up to 7, and then a 9, and then yes, that forces 1 and 9 in here, and that's got to be an 8 to satisfy the sandwich clue. We'll come back to this. Let's think about what this is. This is clearly not 1, 6. It could be 2, 5. And for the moment, it looks like it could be 3, 4 as well. So I'm not going to rush to pencil mark this at this point. You can see we've got a 9 X-wing going on here. which means that in box 3, the 9 is forced to be in this, middling column or column 8. This 9 tells us that has to be the 9. And we can keep going. So next to this 2, I need 6, 7, or 8. Can't be a 9, we've already placed it. This has to be a low digit. It is not a 1. It is 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, I can get to 4 with an 8 in here. This has to be a high digit. It is not 9. It is 6, 7, or 8 again. This is again a low digit. And I'm doing all of these with such confidence that the polarity is not playing around, because you see the 5 is looking across this entire line. So at least the polarity here is consistent, thankfully. This is 2, 3, 4, and this is indeed a high digit. It is, again, not 9, it is 6, 7, 8. Not a 9. We almost have triplets with the 6, 7, 8s and the 2, 3, 4s. These 2s are forcing a 2 down the middle. I haven't actually gone all the way around. I may as well. This has to be a low digit, and 5 is not available, and it's not 1 or 2. This is restricted to 3, 4. This has to be a high digit. Next to the 2, 3, and 4. This is 6, 7, or 8. I'm not sure I can do 6 here, because the minimum here is 3, so the minimum there is 7. And 9 is not available, so we do have indeed a triplet. I selected the wrong digits as I said that. This is 6, 7, and 8. This is 5. This is 9. We've used all the low digits. This is from 1, 3, and 4, not 2. Obviously, we've already eliminated it as an option. So we again have a 1 X-wing. 1 is limited to one of these 2 cells in box 6. And round the perimeter we go. 6, 7, or 8. 9 not available because of this 9. Low digit 1 not available. 4 not available. This is 2 or 3. And then finally we finish off here with a high digit, which is 6, 7, or 8. 9 not available. Okay. So I've done I was sort of taking a look at the sandwich clues occasionally as I was filling this in, and the odd Sudoku, as you can see in here, but I may as well take a look properly now at the sandwich clues just to see if I've not missed anything. So the 0 is done, the 8 is done, the 10 is done, the 7, not really, we've not sort of resolved what this is other than it's 2, 3, 4, or 5. Haven't really thought about this 7, and I should. Because I'll give you sort of options. I can maybe place a 7 in here with a 9. That would work. But obviously the other option would be, again, similar to here, that is 2 cells that add up to 7 with a 9 in here. And that would still work. Now let's think about options. So if it is a single cell, that would be 7, that would be 8, that would be 6. And so far, that is not a problem. And in fact, it's definitely a 6 in here, because that's not a 6. It's surrounded by a minimum of 2, 3. To be 4 or more away from a 3, it does not include a 6. And then with this triplet, that is the only place for a 6. So, having like a 7 in here still certainly works. That's not a 6 anymore. Let's just stay on top of these things before we lose track down the line. So what I want to see is, can I eliminate one of the options that's in here? That's really what I want to test. And how am I going to test this? So if this is 2 cell 7, 1, 6 is not available, 2, 5 is not available, it will be 3, 4. Specifically, it will be 4 with a 3 and then a 9. That's option A. Option B would be a 7 and a 9. Now, I'm not going to leave that 9 in here, but that is truly all the options are available for this sandwich clue. In here, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. Surely I can eliminate something by now. Can I really not eliminate anything? Am I missing it that much? One's done. Maybe some Sudokus to help us move forward a bit faster. Maybe some Sudokus. What have I missed? What am I not really paying attention to? 7 This is one of two cells in here. Three, you can see, is in there as well. So that's not a 3-4 pair, that's a 2-5 pair. I still need a 3, which can only be in here, with, in fact, I mean, that's just 3-4, and the 8, because of this 8, is in there. I mean, that 8 was there for the taking much earlier. We can just finish pencil marking this row that we have here. This is 2, well, we can just place the 2 and a 7, I'm going to say, which gives me an 8 over here. I mean, you know, everything's conspiring to say that's a 7 there. Certainly not eliminating it as a solid option. So what do we have up here? We've definitely got 3, we've definitely got 7. We don't have 2, I don't know why that's in there. Do we really still have 4s and 5s as options? It looks like it, doesn't it? What about this side? Or should I even really look at that side? 1, 3, 4, 7, 3, 9, 2, 5. 2. I mean, it still works with a 3 and then a 4. No, it doesn't, because it breaks this cell. 2 here, because 1 is not available on this white crop key dot. This would be a 3, this would be a 4, and then what do we put in here? So that's a 5, that's a 2. This is 4 or 6, presumably. We'll come back to that. And that doesn't actually help us with any of this. This 7 doesn't either. Okay. Maybe, oh, no 5s. I don't know why I included a 5 in here. And there's no 4. That's just a straight up 3. Oh, that's terrible pencil marking. Right, so 1, 2, 3. I need a 4, which can be apparently anywhere. So 4, 7 is possible. 5 is down here for certain. What do I have in here? So we've got 4 or 6. What else do I need? I need another 4, 6, and I need an 8. And that 8 tells me that's in there. That's 4 or 6. So presumably this is 4, 6, 7. That doesn't seem like it's going to be problematic. And down here it's 4, 5, 6. And that's not a 4, definite 5. 4, 6 is quite helpful. What does that mean? I need 1, 2, 3, can still be placed anywhere. So essentially 3 and 9, no. 1, 2, 3 could be still here or in there. 4, the 5 has to join the 1 and 9. And therefore that is a 3, that is a 4. That removes the 3, 4 option that we were debating earlier. So that's just 7, 9. 2, 3, 4 in here. That's not an 8. That's a 7. Unfortunately, leaving a whole bunch of options still on the table. 1, 5, 9 is done. This is not an 8. We need 6 and 7. And that 2 tells me that's a 3. We have a 6 or 7. 6 is too close to a 3. That's a 6. 7. That's a 6. That's an 8. We're moving now again. 8, as in 9 and 8. 1 and 9. That 1 tells us this is a 1. That's not a 1. This is a 3, 4. The 3, 4 that is not part of this 2, 3, 4, which we still cannot resolve. 6 gives me a 4, a 3, a 4. 3 and 4 in here gives me this 2. We've got a 3, 4 pair now. 6, 7, 8. That's not a 7. That's not a 4. That's not a 5 either. 9 and 8. That's just 3, which gives me 4, 3. 6 cannot be next to the 3. That's an 8. I got anything else to place? It hasn't actually given me anything to do with the 4, 6s and 7s. Amazingly. That's all the sandwich clues done. So it really is just Sudoku at this point. We've even done the entirety of the Dutch Whisper Line. So back to old classic Sudoku. Let's just crack on, shall we? What are some of the easier things to do? What do I need in here? I need 2 and 2, and 4. 4 gives me the order, that's 2. I need in here 6 and 8, I'm going to say that. 8 gives me the order. 8, 6. Let's see, what about, yeah, this is probably the next spot. 1, 2, 3, done. I need a 4 in here. That 4 gives me the order. Then I need 5 and 6. And seemingly unresolved. Seemingly, I emphasize, I may be missing something. In here, we need a 5, 6 with an 8. That 8 tells me the order. That's 8. That is 5 or 6, except that 6 tells me this is a 5. That's a 6. That's a 5. I need a 6 and a 7 in here. Unresolved. Seemingly unresolved. I'm going to use that word more often because I often miss obvious things. 3s are in either of these. Then we have 5, which looks like it's literally anywhere in that column. And then 9, which is one of these two. Not very helpful. 1 could be anywhere. 2 is in one of these two cells. Let's just write in the 1. And then 7, bottom 2. Okay, this is, well, that 4 is not here. Have I not resolved these yet? I haven't. So that's the 6 or 7. This can still be the 4. Okay. This column here, we need 1, 5, 6, 7. Neither of these are 6, but they could be 1, 5, 7, except this one cannot be a 7. I'm not helping my cause a lot here. I'm just writing in a lot of digits and just it's not solving anything. It's just I'm pencil marking tons. I mean 6, 7 pair, that should be helpful. So I need a 3. This 3 tells me that's the 3. That's not a 3. That's a 5, 9 pair. That's the 3. I have 1, 5, and 9 triplet. That's the 2. That's not a 2. I should be able to just write in this digit, which is 5. I'm going to say that's 9. That's 5. That's not a 9. That's a 9. That's got to be a 1 now. That 5 gives us a 1, a 5, a 7, a 1, a 7 again, a 6, 7, 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, 7. That's a lovely finish. I'm kind of surprised it came down to a triplet though. Not what you normally expect, sort of in 1-star difficulty puzzles, but maybe my brain is a bit fried after some of the recent challenges. And then 2, if I've not made any mistake, for the finish. Lovely puzzle, RØMARE. I think it's a nice, smooth finish to the weekend for us here. Hopefully a nice recovery puzzle, we'll call it that, for everyone. Hope that you enjoyed the puzzle. I certainly did. Maybe for the summer we should aim to visit Sweden and see what it's all about. And see you guys for the next video. Bye-bye for now.